Vinyl community, I'm back to do a recent vinyl finds video, and this is going to be all jazz. So yeah, I'm going to show you some new records that I got, some reissues, and then I'm going to go into the original pressings. I have one record I sort of think is a grail, and I'm going to top this off. I'm going to show you in depth three pretty neat jazz related box sets. So yeah, here we go. So first of all, Snorekirk. This is Snorekirk Quartet with Stephen Riley going up. Released in 2021, so last year. Their second release. And I actually got this from my mother-in-law. She went to the concert and she got this and gave me in as a Christmas present. Now, tell me, are there any way that you could have a better mother-in-law? I don't think so. Fantastic jazz record. Snorekirk is a jazz drummer from Denmark, and he has Danish and Swedish players on this one playing with him, and also the American tenor saxophonist Stephen Riley. It's a wonderful, beautiful jazz record. Very easy to like and get into. Check it out. I think it's on. I know that it's on YouTube. I don't know, but I think it's on Spotify also. The next one, and yeah, obviously I went for this. I mean, Freddie Hubbard is growing to be one of my favorite trumpet players. It's just like Open Sesame that I got from this same series, the classic series that Blue Note releases now. It's just my cat is okay. It's just fantastic. And you got Wayne Shorter on this one also, Bernard McKinney, McCoy Tyner, Art Davis, and Elvin Jones. What a lineup, and this is to die for. It's so damn good, it's just insane. At this point in 1965, I think that this was released, sorry, 61. At this point, he's not new to Blue Note. He has released some, and he has many records left in him to come. This is a fantastic Blue Note record, and the sound quality mastered by Kevin Gray, pressed at I think German Palace. If you're a jazz fan and you own a vinyl player, you have to get that. I'm not kidding. This is also from the classic series. This is Horace Silver Quintet, 56. And you have Donald Byrd, Hank Mobley, Horace Silver, Doug Watkins, and Louis Haynes on this one. True mono, and I have to say, this has been hailed as one of the best sounding records put out last year, and I don't agree. It may have to do with my record player and this being a true mono release, but I think that the Hubbard record sounds better. With that being said, it still sounds great. Okay, so I was so lucky to get this next one. I saw it when it was released. It got sold out immediately. I went to a Swedish page. I put down my email address just to get an email if it ever came in press again. And one day, like 6 months after it was released, something like that, it pops up an email saying that it was in stock. I order it right away. It just went off the shop again. The record I'm talking about is Kenny Dorham's Quiet Kenny from Craft Records. This is a record store day release exclusive, I think. Pressed in like 2,000 copies or something like that. Perfectly mastered. Sounds insanely good. And it's a rare record. I don't think that this have ever sounded this good. And it's one of the best jazz records ever released. Ever. And I have no idea what happened. My best guess is that the store found a crate of record or a box that they didn't open or something like that, and they just put it out. I don't know. But here it is. I'm super glad. 2,500 copies. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm reading here. Doing the... okay. Okay, so the next one is Sven Wunder. And this guy has just exploded in the sort of record collecting market, and I don't know why. It's good. It's sort of a little bit like the library music, but it's jazz fusion. I don't know. it's okay. I mean, and it has that sort of aura of nostalgia to it, but it's maybe it's a homage, but there's so many more records out there that sounds like this, that is better than this. That's just my opinion. I'll keep it for now, but I don't know if it's gonna stay in the collection forever. So check it out. If you like it, get it while it's still available, because people are buying it as crazy. Don't get it. Okay, so that was the new records. Now we get into used records, and this is Kip Hanrahan. Desire Develops an Edge. Released 1983, and has a killer lineup on it. It's a double LP, but the first one is the record, and then there's a 12-inch EP coming with it, with about the same lineup. He's a percussionist, and he plays like Afro-Cuban avant-garde fusion jazz from '83, if that even makes sense. But it's very interesting. And you have Jack Bruce on this one also, playing bass and sings. And I shit you not, I say, okay, I state that Jack Bruce has never sung as good as this on any other record, in my opinion, of what I've heard. Also, it sounds fantastic. The sound stage is both like deep and wide. It's insane, very detailed voices, clear as, I don't know, a blue sky. I love my, yeah. Okay, so Kip Hanrahan, Desire Develops an Edge, 1983. Cheap Heat. Get it. The next one is another Cannonball Adderley to add to the collection. This was also in that huge jazz collection that I bought. This is a keeper. This is Mercy, Mercy, Mercy with Cannonball Adderley Quintet. And I have to read here because this is late 70s, I think, reissue of this. Dutch or German on EMI disc. But the lineup on this one, because this was released in 1967 and on Capitol Records, and it was called Mercy, Mercy, Mercy Live at the Club, recorded in Chicago. And you have Nat Adderley, Cannonball Adderley, Roy McCurdy, and Joe Savignol on electric piano. Joe Savignol is playing his heart out on this one. It's a really, really nice to see. 1960, maybe 66 it was recorded, something like that, to hear Joe Savignol back in the day with Cannonball. Awesome. And there's also 2 songs penned by Joe Savignol, and I think that they had a small hit with the song Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. That's why they reissued it as only Mercy, Mercy, Mercy and not at the club. Okay, now we get into the little more heavier stuff. It's been a while since I bought and or played a free jazz record. Felt like a sort of breath of fresh air when I played this just the other day. This is Albert Eilis Quartet, the Versum session. And this is from Holland with Don Cherry, Gary Peacock and Sonny Murray. What a lineup. Yeah. So this was released in 1980 on the Osmosis Records. It's this one. There's the label there. Yeah, but it was recorded in 1964, and this is recorded in November 9th, 1964, and that's important because 1965, I think it was, Albert Eiler released a record called Ghost on the Fontana label, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, or Debut. Fuck it. And it was put out in Denmark because this same lineup was 2 months before this session were in Denmark on, I think, Café Montmartre, and recorded that record. So if you listen to that, it was also, when I have it up there, it was also reissued. Ghost was reissued as Vibrations. If you compare those two, it's very similar, but I think this is a little bit better, and you can really hear how much fun they have feeding off each other on this one. Highly recommended. Not super expensive. Sa du något, Sofie? Katten är ute. Jaha. Han har stått och skrikit här tills jag släppte ut henne. Helt sjukt. Okay, so the next one is live in Ankara. And this was also in that big batch of record collection that I bought. Don Cherry record that I really wanted. It's been on my want list forever. It's fantastic. A live recording from the American Embassy in Turkey, in Ankara. And you have Don Cherry and only Turkish musicians on this. OK Temiz plays drums on this either way. 1969. So it was released in 1978 on the Swedish, or in this case the English, Sonnet label. I don't know, it's labeled as UK, but I thought that Sonnet was only in Sweden, so I don't know. Fantastic artwork by Mocky Cherry, Don Cherry's wife, and also liner notes by Mocky. A fantastic period of Don Cherry, obviously, and a great record to add to the collection. Okay, so this is sort of a cheap 70-ish, because I don't know which year it is, German reissue on Happy Bird, on Happy Bird. And what this is I don't know. I think that they got sued and they withdraw the record afterwards. But this is Chick Corea's Bliss. It's on Muse Records, Jazz 2000. It's a series that they put out. But what this is Pete La Rocca's Turkish Women at the Baths from 1967. So I have no idea why they didn't put this out as a Pete La Rocca album. Maybe Chick Corea sold more records back in the 70s than he did in the late 60s, or Peter La Rocca, maybe he didn't sell records in the 70s. I have no idea. It's labeled as a Chick Corea record, but obviously it's not. All the songs is by Pete La Rocca. So nothing's by Chick Corea, and Chick Corea plays great on this. Very energetic, very like, but you also have Walter Brooker and John Gilmore on tenor saxophone on this one. Recorded in May 1967. A fantastic classic jazz record. I mean, Turkish Women at the Bath. Classic. And I'm going to look for the original press, or at least an early press of this one with Peter La Rocca. But until then, I have this. Pretty glad. This is actually a record I didn't know existed. It's from 1970. It's recorded in 1968. This is a reissue from 1971 on Joy Records. And the record I'm talking about is this. This is the Young Lions. Listen to the lineup here. I had no idea that this existed. Lee Morgan, Wayne Shorter, Louis Hayes, Bobby Timmons, Bob Cranshaw, and Albert Heath. You also got Frank Strozier. And that's the only name that I didn't know about. I mean, shit, that's a good lineup, isn't it? Like a really, really good lineup. And the music is fantastic on this one. There's 3 Wayne Shorter tracks, and there's 1 Lee Morgan track, and there's also 1 track by Timmons. Young Lions. I think this is a classic also in the jazz sort of catalog. Should be if it's not. So great to add this to the collection. That's also one of the records in that sort of big collection that I bought. And the last one, and this is the somewhat grail. So this is one of those Swedish records that is just iconic. And unfortunately the cover is pretty beat, but the record is in pretty good condition, and I got it for a steal. And this is Sax Appeal by the Swedish Modern Jazz Group. And what that means is Lars Gullin, but also selected and conducted by Nils Lindberg. So that's the, yeah, I'm filing it on the Nils Lindberg. You also have Rolf Billing, Henry Backlund, Allan Lundström, Lars Gullin, as I said, Nils Lindberg, and Sture Nordin. Conny Svensson on drums. This is one of those sort of iconic jazz records here from Sweden. And if you like your sort of 50s jazz, this is a no-brainer. Just check it out. Lars Gullin is on fire on this one. And having an original press is... I'm so stoked. I never thought that I would own one, because they are expensive. Even in this condition, they are expensive. And I got this for €20. Yeah, I'm super stoked. Great cover artwork. They have reissued this in the 70s with a completely different artwork that sounds great. I think it sounds even maybe even better than this press. So if you want the artifact, go for this. If you want the music, go for the reissue. So yeah, box sets. So why not start in chronological order? And I have talked about Monk, haven't I, in my latest videos, back and forth. I have been obsessed by Thelonious Monk for months now. And I was able to invest, and I say this because they are not cheap, these sort of records that I've got. But I have invested in his music in chronological order. So I'm going to start off with what I started off with, and this is the Mosaic, or Mosaic, I have no idea how to pronounce that. The complete Blue Note recordings of Thelonious Monk. And all of these were released as, I think, 10 inches back in the day, maybe some 78s. Yeah, let's go into this. I love the front covers of these boxes, and also the spine of them with the silver sort of lettering and mosaic. But if we go into what it is, you have a booklet with, in this case, Monk's early years, great texts, and you also have a discography of the recordings, when, who, and where. And on the last page you get production notes like original sessions produced by Alfred Lyon, produced re-release produced by reissued produced by Michael Cascuna, and yeah, songs, stuff like that. And then we have the records, just from start to finish. In this case, 5 record sets. It's the complete recordings from his Blue Note period, and this is early Thelonious Monk, and I love it. It's so damn, if you compare it to other Blue Note records from that time period, this is from another dimension, in my opinion. Like, you can't really compare his sort of playing and technique to any other musician. I don't think so, anyway. If you have comments, please write them down, because I'm obsessed with Monk right now, so I may be blinded by his sort of genius. It was so cool to just sit down and listen to it from start to finish. I think I did it over 3 days or something like that, and at the same time reading his autobiography during this time period in the book. It was just like going back in time, insane. And I also found, because after he left Blue Note, he joined Prestige, and I managed to find this for, it was just like the vinyl or music gods were smiling upon me and securing these sort of artifacts for me to enjoy. So let's get into this box, shall we? Thelonious Monk, the complete Prestige 10-inch LP collection. So what you get in this is also a small book about the inside, some stories about Monk, some great sort of cutout pictures of him from this time period. And then you get the 10-inch sets in, unfortunately, paper sleeves. But yeah, as it was put out originally with a glued back cover. I think there's a micro groove in the, what is it's called, micro groove, something like that. So Sonny Rollins with the Thelonious Monk. Thelonious Monk plays with Percy Heath and Art Blakey. Then you have with Fred Foster and Art Blakey, and then you have Quintet blows for LP and just Thelonious. This is also fantastic, and compared to the Blue Note, I don't know, maybe on par, but I mean, the guy was constantly developing all the way up to when he got ill, I think. So, shit, fantastic box. Also by Kraft Records, so the same as the Kenny Dorham. I don't know if it was a Record Store Day release, but I'd recommend it. And the last one, and I actually got this as a birthday gift from my wife. This is the Miles Davis Quintet Live in Europe 1967, the bootleg series, Volume 1. Let's dive into this, shall we? So what you get is a box, and there's 5 I think 5 records. 5 records in it. With a nice booklet, thick paper. Really, you can see that they put some money into this. Fantastic photos of Herbie Hancock and Tony Williams there. And the inner sleeves is the first one is with Miles, and then you have the records after that. I've put them in a rice paper sleeve, inner sleeve. Recorded 3 different sets in Europe. The first one is in Belgium. The second one is from Copenhagen in Denmark, and the last one, and that's the bulk of the sort of the box set, is from Paris in France. Yeah, music on vinyl. Put this out, and this is the second famous quintet with Miles Davis, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. Recorded 67. This is the start of to his bootleg series. I don't know if they do them anymore, but I think there is 6 sort of releases or boxes. I only have this one. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Please comment. If you haven't subscribed, do that as usual. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.